I want to make it clear that it's not only thanks to the infographic. It's first because I created a content strategy with the right pillars, the right messaging. I set up an enemy, a point of view, really a deep content strategy. Second, I started long form content because most people think they need to have an idea and then write about the idea. But the truth is the idea becomes clearer as you write. The most important is don't get addicted to the dopamine that the views engagement generate. Otherwise, you will go in the wrong direction. It's like a trap. It's you get this emotional feeling like the dopamine, and you want more likes, and so you will adapt your content to the likes rather than what is good for your business.
Everyone, today I have with me one of the most inspiring LinkedIn creators on the planet. This is Pierre Herubel. He is one of the most notable folks in the LinkedIn space with over 130,000 followers. And one of the reasons I really love that is he's one of the very few people who's producing legit quality educational content, something that I'm deeply passionate about, and not memes and viral clickbaits and all the other cheesy stuff that you can see on the platform, especially nowadays. Hi, Pierre. Thanks for hopping on the show. How are you?
Hey Mario, thanks for the invitation and the introduction. It's very nice from you, this quick intro.
Yeah, well, again, thanks for doing what you do. I ran through kind of my backlog in my inbox. We connected late in 2023. This is more or less when my LinkedIn reach started to die, and more or less it's been going this way ever since. So I should probably finally start applying what you teach in your courses, but that's a different story. Meanwhile, again, what I really want to outline is lots of people like me are struggling with LinkedIn nowadays. I've been on LinkedIn for about 16 years or so. I have like 20,000 followers and stuff. Used to have different stages of luck with LinkedIn video in 2017, 2018, 2019, then documents when they featured them in what is it, 2020, 2021, and kind of different stages and waves. I was one of the early adopters and the very first beta testers of series, which is now essentially newsletters. And at some point, I missed the wave. Things went south, and my reach is more or less non-existent nowadays. And what I really like about your profile, and kind of one of the reasons I really want to have you on the show, is I'm very inspired by. I'm actually going to share over here, but I'm very inspired by the way that you are creating professional content. Once again, you're not doing all that clickbait, the cheesy copy, and comment here 17 times so that I can post my ultimate guide. Of course, everyone's dropping some of these every now and then, but overall, your content is super professional. Your profile is super professional. It's very elegant, very well looking. I love the infographics. Once again, so it's helping people out. It's making the world be better. And as someone who deeply cares about education, that's really what it all has to be about, right? So moral of the story, what I think is that we need to have more and more people providing high quality content, and especially B2B leaders and professionals such as the ones looking into the show, that are CMOs, CEOs, VPs of marketing, and other directors of demand generation and whatnot. They have to get inspiration from your content, and really start to produce high quality content and figure out what high quality content looks like in the first place. So without further ado, give us a brief start of how did you first start? How did you discover like the infographic format for LinkedIn, and kind of what your growth journey looked like?
All right. So I started posting on LinkedIn and more globally online in January 2022. So back then I had an agency. We were doing go-to-market experimentation. So basically what we were doing is when you had a startup and you were looking to get your product market fit, you reach out to us and we tested a few experimentations like LinkedIn ads, Google ads, meta ads, cold emails, and so on. And so for this agency, we had to find clients. All right.
Mhm.
So I started posting on LinkedIn to acquire clients first, to get more leads. At the beginning, I didn't get any leads for like 3 months, and then I started to get a steady flow of like let's say 5 leads per month. So I kept going, right?
Mhm.
Um, and then the problem is at the beginning I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just like publishing random stories. I even do a post about the boss versus the leader, this
Yeah.
stereotype about management, but I don't know anything about management. So I just like posted to try a few things, and eventually I lost my momentum, so I didn't get any like a good reach or likes, engagement, and so on. So I lost it for like a year, but I kept posting every day because I felt like, okay, everyone says about consistency, discipline, and so on. So I kept posting, and I thanks myself for that, by the way. And my content really took off in June 2023 when, as you said, I included the infographics. But that's 1 year and 6 months later, if you take the starting date as January 2022. And in June 2023, I had like 30,000 followers, which is quite high already, but it's because I've posted consistently for 1 year and a half. But within 2 months, when I started adding the infographics and also long form content with my newsletter, I gained like 25,000 followers in 3 months. And
That's
it
impressive.
started my second momentum. And I want to make it clear that it's not only thanks to the infographic. It's first because I created a content strategy with the right pillars, the right messaging. I set up an enemy, a point of view, really a deep content strategy. Second, I started long form content because most people think they need to have an idea and then write about the idea. But the truth is, the idea it becomes clearer as you write. Everyone who is writing a book knows that when you are writing the book, when you are actually writing the book, the idea, you make it sharper, clearer, you find examples. So it comes from the craft. So long form content really helped me to actually build this deep content strategy. And also, as you said, the infographics, they really helped me. At the beginning, it was just like a few tables, just some icons, and then I posted so many infographics. I use Canva, and in my Canva I have like 3,000, I don't know, like 2,500 infographics. Because when I produce one, the last one, the one that you see on LinkedIn, it's actually the end results. But I have like 5 different versions that I A/B test with some friends before I actually post it. And so yeah, I created a lot of infographics, and that's why now they are good, because I experimented a lot. So that's the story. I have on my YouTube channel a YouTube video where I explain everything about the story. You can check if you want to see the lows and the ups, when I lost the momentum, when I got it back, because it's really a long story. It's not like viral overnight.
I was just looking into your Substack as well and opening the YouTube, but and again, I'm once again very passionate about education, and you're doing a lot of that. You have courses, you have the bootcamp, you have the Substack, which essentially looks like this, and that's one of the great examples of actually following your framework and writing authority content that's both well structured and again kind of create as a reverse pyramid or a funnel, however you want to look into that. Like, oh, that's kind of broken down into simple frameworks to follow. And I also want to stress out on the visual part is important, right? Like visual is high candy. Some people really care about that, especially on Instagram and Pinterest. Others not so much, but the framework, like the nitty gritty details, are what truly matters. And when you combine that, like the framework creation with the visual representation, that's something that's easy to follow. Then it really pops up. And the reason I'm saying that is you can go on Instagram and you can see tons of pretty Canva templates or Visma or some of the other templates and tools, but they're stating like 5 ways to be successful on LinkedIn. Number 1, post daily. Number 2, connect with people. Number 3, post long form, right? It's I call that the common sense. Yeah, I call that kind of the common sense type of thing. And it's I have my own like 5 pillars of depth when we're working with a team or producing content. Like we want content that's 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. That's really in depth. It's research. It's practical. It's tactical. You can use it. It's not just generally boiling the water, right? I know nothing about construction work. I know that I shouldn't get electrocuted and I shouldn't let the roof fall on my head, right? That's accurate. It's just not helpful because every adult knows that this is kind of important. So again, with that in mind, courses and boot camps, and again the Substack, the YouTube channel, the agency part, it's pretty versatile. The Slack community as well, which is kind of part of the course, which is different ways to tap into different audiences and create community and create audience, which is something that more or less every single diversified entrepreneur, every single VP, every single executive should think about for their business, for their own professional brand, for kind of tapping into different channels, for building kind of side activities or hustles that are, of course, aligned with the full-time job, and all that. Tell us again, kind of what are the key channels, or what does your, I know, revenue breakdown look like right now, at least based on, okay, the biggest channel is, let's say, the courses, second one boot camps, third one Substack. Kind of what do they look like now in February 2025?
So to give you an overview, first, there's something important I need to tell you is I decided to have a content-led business. So everything starts from the content. That's why I invest so much into content. And it's linked to my personal brand, which is a byproduct of the content. Because a lot of people are saying, hey, I need to build my personal brand. So they're looking for templates, quick wins, and hacks to grow their personal brand in order to be perceived as important, famous, and so on. But the problem is that they are not like first crafting their expertise before actually creating the personal brand. You need to do the opposite. You need to craft your expertise, make it deep, have some real insights that you can share, and then when you publish about it, you will build your personal brand in this order, not the opposite. So your personal brand is a byproduct of your content, of your expert content. And that's why if you publish random stories, you will get likes, engagement, but you will get what I call dry views. So dry views are empty views. They are almost useless because you can become famous, but not for a specific expertise. You need to be famous for a specific expertise, or at least build authority around it. And then you become the go-to expert. So that's the mindset of the overall business. And then based on that, I have, as you said, a portfolio of offers. So inside my portfolio of offers, I have first, I consider it an offer. It's my free content because people actually pay with their attention. They give me their attention, so that's a currency, which is really precious in 2025 and for the next years as well. Always been precious, to be honest. So that's the first. So I need to treat it as an offer. It needs to be very good, okay? Because they pay me with their attention. For some people, paying with attention, it's much more expensive than paying with money. For people who are really busy but have money in the bank or in the company. After that, I have a really entry product, which is my Substack paid newsletter. It's $15 per month. $15 per month, you get access to 2 paid edition per month, and you also get access to a community that I moved from Slack to a Kajabi, by the way. I can explain more about that. So here, yeah, you get 2 editions. You learn about B2B marketing and content marketing. So one of the newsletter you show, I think it's from the paid subscription. Then I have a course that is $590, except when I do a promotion or a launch. And I want to launch more courses this year. So this one, you learn B2B content marketing. You learn my authority first framework. So how to position yourself as an expert with content for your personal brand or for your brand. It's for both. And then I do some coaching. So I help one-on-one or with bootcamps. And the bootcamps is, so I just launched a bootcamp, by the way, and I will do new ones. So the price will be $3,000. And if you want to work one-on-one with me, it's between 5K to 10K around. So that's my overall portfolio of offers. And then I do special projects for big companies or startups, but that's separate. It's not productized. And I'm launching an agency with a partner, but this I'm more like a co-founder and strategic advisor. And I'm here to help the team, send some leads as well, and overall grow the business, but more from a strategic point of view. And this is launching soon. It's launching soon. So this is a teaser. I think it's launching in 1 week. So this is my portfolio of offers. And, I also have my free content, as I said, with LinkedIn, Substack, YouTube. I spend a lot of time in content creation, obviously. And this free content drives the business, drives the strategy, drives the experimentation, the feedback loop, the connection with the audience, and also the revenue, because most of my revenue comes from content and social selling.
That's a great breakdown, and I love the low ticket funnel thing. I've been I've been talking a lot about low ticket over the past year and a half or 2 years because of the demise of the B2B SaaS ever since the kind of end of 2022, beginning of 2023, all the mass layoffs, kind of all the breakdown of different kind of companies going through layoffs, through internal cuts, and all that. We saw that firsthand in the agency. I remember I think it was January 2024, maybe. So probably last year, January. Over the course of 2 weeks, we had 5 of our clients swapping CEOs, right? So like replacing the head of the company for 5 different businesses in 2 weeks was pretty notable. Again, it's not just a layoff round. It's not just like budget cuts. It's actually completely shifting the company strategy. And one of the businesses is an $80 million business. Another one is a $25 million business. So we're not, again, talking about, tiny startups. We're not talking about VC funded, still burning a lot of money. That's actually established businesses that have been running for a decade or more and doing through kind of major shifts. So a lot of the kind of high ticket things that we also used to do, like it was pretty easy to sell a 80K, 100K, 150K contract before. We've even sold some 7-figure contracts over like a month. And nowadays there's a lot of low ticket of, hey, we need to spend like 5 hours in, just discovery or like quickly fixing something and then probably moving to maintenance and then kind of upselling a larger contract and then creating different contracts, one for this and one for that and one for that. So it's a lot of extra legwork to kind of just build trust, and you need to start with low ticket and all that. So that model is definitely a lot more important right now, which is kind of at the bottom of the recession or whatever you want to call it. And it's just a lot of businesses have still not adapted to this one. This is what also, Chris Walker and the guy from Winning by Design are talking about quite a lot. Again, the B2B enterprise shift, they don't know how to allocate budgets. They still have budgets remaining. They can't get the return on ad spend. There's a lot more scrutiny. B2B deals are taking a lot longer. So it's just taking a lot longer to actually do that. And also going to double tap on, you do brand ambassador deals with large companies in order to help them kind of streamline the model and build it themselves, or you work with them or do some sort of advisory stuff. You have the agency type of thing, which is strategic partnership, which is again you sitting with your own brand and there's someone kind of doing the execution there and you're kind of making it work. So lots of kind of important thoughts and kind of consideration aspects to kind of think of here. And with regards to your courses and all that, I'm sure that there are solopreneurs and kind of freelancers and like starting business executives there. So most of the courses are actually across the board are acquired by people starting out and trying to learn the ropes and maybe get it their own vocation. But tell us about some of the larger companies. Like if you can mention names, that's great. If not, like could be that's a 5,000 person organization that's doing this or not, taking your courses and that you're actually working with and are seeing value. Just I want to demonstrate that this content is not just for 17-year-old people on X or Instagram trying to do sell infographics or freelance ghost posting, but actually professional organizations adapting this type of content.
Honestly, I don't need to do a lot of convincing on this topic because it's a big shift from a centralized decision process to a decentralized decision process in B2B marketing. So before you had to talk with the sales team to get all the information. No, you don't want that. You want to find all the information on the internet or during events and communities maybe as well. So there is a massive shift, and sellers, they are realizing this. They are feeling that they need to adapt. So whether it's a big company or a smaller one, everyone has the same realization. They are all like, okay, we need to create content, we need to adapt to this decentralized process. So the only question is what kind of content they will do and how are they going to do it? Are they going to hire people internally if we are talking about a big company? Are they going to hire an agency? Or are they going to maybe hire a team of freelancers? You see, the question is only like, how are you going to do it? And my course, for example, helps people who want to hire internally and train their team to do it. Because whether it's for a small company, a freelancer, a startup, or a corporation with 10,000 people, at the end of the day, it's a content strategy, a content plan, copywriting, design, video editing, and connecting it to the sales system. It's like it's about skills. It's not like strategy decks where you have 20 people brainstorming or something like that. Like content creation is a craft. So this is why the course can be used by corporations, startups, freelancers as well. No, I have people in the course that are marketing managers for big companies. I don't know the exact numbers, like is it a 10,000 company, 5,000? But I see a lot of them, and mainly from the US and Europe, France, UK, and Netherlands. So as I said, I don't need to do a lot of convincing. I just need to be here and say that I provide B2B content expertise, and the market is evolving towards this destination anyway.
What I can definitely tell is there is a lot of, while the playbook is working, like the content playbook is working, and that's kind of proven. There are, on the one hand, you have B2B leaders that are still convinced that it's all demand generation, right? You just need to have 20 enterprise sales reps knocking on doors. Like, even if you take a look at Salesforce, right? Mark Benoit, what he did is he said, I'm hiring 2,000 salespeople to sell Agentforce, which is our agentic sales system, which is, why would you sell an AI sales bot with actual humans? Like it's kind of contradictory. So on the one hand, you have these traditional leaders, you have the traditional PPC leaders, right? We're going to spend $1 million a month or more on Google Ads or so. We actually work with a couple of businesses spending 9 figures a year in ads. You can't convince a business like that content works this way, for example, right? So they're just different fractions. But on the other layer, even if you, for those of us that are convinced that content is a great way, it's a smart investment and all that, then you still have the fear of, hey, but like if I build the brands of people, like if I send people to your bootcamp, for example, my manager's gonna leave, or they're going to get recruited in a different organization, or they're going to get stolen in someone who's adapting the same framework in there, and all that. And I can speak from experience. 2021 was dubbed the Great Resignation year, right? So lots and lots and lots of cohorts of people just leaving and kind of hopping jobs, or like going on kind of sabbaticals, or doing digital nomads. And many of them, like lots of organizations, got actually burned, and they stopped all sort of intern campaigns, junior campaigns or so in 2022 and 2023 because of all of that investment in human capital, and then people more or less abandoning them. Now, again, I'm not going to get a deep dive of whether it's the people or the corporations, right? There have been lots of layoffs afterward, but you know what I'm saying? There's the fear of some organizations need, okay, if I'm a small team, I'm going to take the course myself, or like my co-founder, my CMO, like people who are trusted in leadership are going to take it. But then other organizations are, I don't want to assign that to my marketing director or VP of marketing or so. They're going to create a brand like Pierre, and they're going to, start something solo, or work for, Duolingo, and become their new marketing creative director for B2B. So how are you, is the agency the solution to all that? So if people don't want to kind of go through the training and build the brands, then they can work with you as an influencer, or they can hire and actually still get the output, or how does it work?
I think what you said at the end is correct. This is why I launched this agency, why I'm launching it right now. When you have a portfolio of offers, you need to, as you grow, you need to cover every different type of needs. This is a one of the possible strategy. You have another strategy, which is like a one-stop funnel. It's everything you do is for one offer, and you can scale to millions with just one offer. It's okay. I decided to go for a different approach, and this is why indeed I launched the agency. I have a solid partner who is very good at content creation, so this is why we launched this program. Now, something interesting is, as you said, some companies, they are afraid that people in their team grow their personal brand and then leave the company. Honestly, I understand them, but it's an old debate. I remember seeing a quote which says, imagine if we spend money on education for our employees and they leave, and then it's imagine if we don't do it and they stay.
I
You see
think it
what I
was
mean?
Sir Richard Branson, but I may be off, but I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I just transform it, and it's not as sharp as the way he said it, but the idea is here. So it's a bit the same. When they grow their personal brand, they grow it for them, but also for your business. In my previous agency that I sold in 2023, we were 5 people posting on LinkedIn, the 2 co-founders and 3 other people. And we were generating revenue, leads and revenue from the people inside the employees. Okay. And they had a commission on the sales, so everyone was happy. And then most of them, they launched their company after leaving the agency. So this is with my co-founder from the past, we were proud. Like they grew their personal brand, they launched their company. It's a good thing as well. Now for bigger corporation, I understand, and they need to install like a commission system to make sure that the employee is happy and the company as well. So for this, you can do tracking with links and UTMs. For example, put the name of the person in the link, so you know where the leads come from. So when it closes, you can give a commission. It's not 100% accurate, of course, but that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea. Like the commission-based approach, it's not very typical for marketers, right? Marketers are just, unless you're in performance-based marketing when you're running ads and then there's like a commission-based schedule and it's actually performance-based, but it's not very traditional. But it's a good idea treating that as, okay, that's affiliate marketing, right? You're on payroll,
Yeah.
but also an affiliate marketer. So let's structure it this way, and I think it's a great way to cut it. I ran I've been running different kind of bonus schemes and kind of performance schemes for different teams, including kind of my leadership. One of the practices that you tried for a couple of years is like a specific percentage of the profit on a quarterly basis, right? So it's because in the agency space, if you grant equity, it means nothing. Most
Mhm.
agencies never exit, so like that equity results in nothing. There's no profit distribution, there's no dividend shares and stuff. So we did that dividend share distribution instead as kind of one of the models to kind of incentivize leadership, structure it this way. So that affiliate model of, okay, let's incentivize with commission based deals is kind of a smart way to kind of look into that. And again, let's think of the traditional B2B SaaS business or B2B professional services business, let's say PR, or okay, PR is probably not a great idea, but like accounting or legal, or again, B2B SaaS, something to help tech care in something that's not so hot like AI, because AI is everywhere, is buzzing everywhere, and it's also more kind of visual, but construction working software or healthcare or fintech CRM, like how would you approach these as a content planning structure, like shaping the pillars high level, content planning, who's in charge of that, how many people are working on that? Let's just play one or two scenarios so that people can actually visualize what it looks like in a different setting.
Okay, so to be clear, I'm specialized in B2B marketing. So everything I say is about B2B. If you are in B2C, you need to adapt. Of course, there are some foundations that you can reuse, but this is B2B marketing. That's the first thing. The second thing is, let's say, a CRM or an horizontal B2B SaaS. The question is, do we have a business strategy? Yes or no? Because a lot of companies come to me and they think content will fix their problem, but actually they have a business strategy problem. What does it mean? It means they don't have a clear ideal customer profile and target customer. They don't know exactly the problem they are solving, or maybe they invented a solution and now they are looking for a problem that fits their solution. I've seen that a lot. And this is one of the worst case for a marketer. Then do they have a positioning, or are they just like, do they have the same value proposition and messaging as everyone else? Is their messaging strategy already set up? Do they have other winning tactics in marketing, like emails or webinars, I don't know, to plug it to this system? And also, do they have a sales system? The co-founder, are there, can they sell the product? When the co-founders cannot sell the product, even when the company raised millions, this happens sometimes. So those are the business strategy problems. This needs to be done before you actually build a content strategy and a content plan. Because the link between the business strategy and the content strategy will be first at the messaging level. The messaging will become content pillars. So content pillars, this is exactly what I teach in the course, is how to actually transform messages into those specific topics. To give you an overview of what is a content pillar, imagine you have a map and you put one dot. Okay, one dot is the first pillar. Okay, so for me, it's the old B2B marketing playbook doesn't work anymore. This is the first dot on the map. Then you put another dot on the map. This is the second dot. For me, it will be about content strategy. So here you have a line, and then if you put a last dot, you will have a triangle, and inside this triangle, you have your area of expertise. So if it's very broad, if the triangle is very broad, you will have a lot of different topics to talk about, but you will not be perceived as an expert, a go-to expert in a specific category, because you talk about too many different topics. And people have limited availability in terms of like brain power, let's say. So they will not remember who you are if you are an expert of 5 different things. All right. So the content pillars are very important, and they will allow you to repeat over and over the same messages. You can have an accounting company and have a very simple messaging, which is we help B2B founders to save 20%, something like this, and then repeat it over and over with different types of content. Now I will skip the enemy, the point of view, because it's a bit long, but you need to have an overall narrative behind your content strategy, because people will connect with the narrative. Even if you are in some industry that might be seen as boring, the narrative will help you to connect and to have not an emotional appeal, but something that make people move a bit more than just like rational features and so on. So the narrative for me, it's really simple. It's the old B2B marketing playbook doesn't really work anymore. You need to adapt, and you need to publish content for this. When you have this narrative and your content pillars and all this strategy, once again, there are other steps, but I'm just going fast. You need to plan your content. So let's say you have a table and you need to plan 20 pieces of content. You need to choose which channel. So let's say LinkedIn, newsletter, YouTube, which is the best trio in my opinion. Start from LinkedIn, get traction, then add the newsletter, and then use the newsletter as scripts for your YouTube channel, which you add later on. So you can do that over like 1 year or even 2 years. I did it in 2 years. LinkedIn, Substack, for example, or Behave, ConvertKit, and then YouTube. And the types of content inside this table, so you need to decide what are you going to say. That's the topic of the piece of content, but also the type. Is it an opinion? Is it a how-to? Is it a case study? You need to define what type of content, and also the format. Is it a carousel? Is it an infographics, a video, etc.? And then you have like a box. I'm going to release a product, I think, which I will call the sandbox, because you put a lot of different aspects inside, you shake it, and then you have the final piece of content. It's like a matrix or a table. Let's say you want to talk about topic A, which is about content pillar C, which is the format carousel on LinkedIn, and it's a case study. And then it's almost like engineering, where you actually mix all the different formats and test, experiment, install a feedback loop, get the results from like you have quick results from LinkedIn, you have medium-term results on YouTube, and newsletter, you have medium-term results as well. Adapt your content plan based on this feedback loop and repeat over and over with an experimentation mindset that I got myself from the growth marketing mindset, because I was a growth marketer before. So when you do content marketing, you need to have this growth marketing and experimentation mindset as well. So this is a quick overview of how to build your content strategy.
I love the fact that you're talking about experimentation. Actually, and I'm saying that often, I spend about 300 grand a year on experiments, like different use, acquisitions, testing different channels, paid ads,
And that's
building
fun,
content and
right?
all that. Yeah, well, it's fun, yeah, indeed. Second, I want to make sure that we don't like stay behind, because especially now in today's ever-changing ecosystem, we just need to be testing lots of different mechanics. One of that examples is like John Rush. He's kind of the directories guy, right? So he also has an agency like Mars X, his company, and he also has a guide, like it's a course in a sense that you buy and you kind of build directories and stuff. So I quickly went through the course, like just skimmed over that. So I hired someone going through the course, and they also hired his agency to build some directories. So now we have like 9 or 10 or so directories, like half are from by his team, half are here internal, and like we're managing internally. So it's really helping out. Okay, we have the playbook, we have the SOP created. We can just hire someone and like let them go through that, and we can also hire them to do the first 2 or 3 so that we get the basics right and like all the kind of best practice. So it's not a done for you. So it starts as done for you, and then it's done with you, right? So like there's some support mechanism and maintenance and,
Okay.
and all that stuff. So I think just the entire landscape is changing quite a lot. Both my agency and advisory firms, we used to be a lot of, people need more manpower, more support. They need to pour in more resources. They hire us as an agency. They hire people in house. They hire like lots of things together. Then there are cuts, and they either cut our contract in half, or they slash 50% of their staff and leave us because you're more efficient. That happened several times actually. But now there's a lot of done with you, right? Like we come in as consultants, or like we do the heavy lifting, and then internal people do more of the manual work, like content updates and stuff. Just the more tedious work, that's more mechanic than internally, because it's cheaper and we do more of the strategic work and the guidance. But it's important to just be working together on kind of that narrative, and that's valid for pretty much all sorts of resources. That's also one of the reasons why I asked, hey, how's the bootcamp working? How's the Substack? Like, other than just training someone and leaving them working like independently, you say you have the one-on-one work with me thing, and now there's the agency thing, and now there are different models to work depending on the size of your organization, kind of the level of privacy, how much institutional knowledge you want to transfer over, and kind of the different kind of bits and pieces there. In terms of content formats for LinkedIn in particular, now in February, because LinkedIn introduced the TikTok feed in a sense. Carousels, you say this is one of the formats that also exists. Personally, again, I had a lot of luck in 2021, 2022 with carousels. They died off afterwards, but I know that they work for some of them. So what do you say the current content breakdown looks like on LinkedIn today?
First, you need to have a mix of different types. You need to have, as I explained, like opinions, how-tos, case studies. There is a long list. And then you need to have different formats as well. The main role is to have different formats and to publish them. Because if you always publish videos or infographics, for example, people will get bored. They want to see different angles. So I recommend let's say you have 5 days per week, you post 5 days per week. First day infographic, second day video, third text post only, fourth an image of you plus text, and then carousel. Did I say carousel already? I don't remember, but you have the mix. Honestly, you need variety like this. This is the best rule to follow. And carousel were very big in 2023. So when you spot that there is a wave, why not taking it? You can take the video wave if you want. The only thing is stick to your positioning, stick to your messaging strategy. Otherwise, you will jump from trends to trends and always change. Because there is a difference between going into videos and changing your topic or using video as a medium, as a format to just communicate the same ideas. So if you do that, the second one, it's good. You can do it. Don't hesitate to jump on format trends.
Do you think that your audience, kind of based on followers and conversations and communities you've had, do you think that the same audience is watching videos as the one that's reading long form posts or looking into infographics, or they're completely different types of people?
I don't have this information at a granular level. What I can say is you have layers of commitment. So most of the time they start and discover me with LinkedIn posts. And if they really like it, they will move on to the Substack and the YouTube videos at the same time. It's more like that, but I don't know exactly who is watching what, to be honest.
Yeah, what we've kind of found out is, and again, people are different, they have different preferences. More or less, people have, for the most part, the same amount of time on a daily, weekly basis they consume content. Again, varies, some do less, some do more, but they have a different medium, right? If you're riding in the subway, probably videos are better because you're tuning out the noise. If you have kids at home, videos are not really a thing because there's always someone talking and stuff. So or if you're at bed at night and you don't want to wake up your significant other or so. So people have kind of different preferences. Some are 85% text, 15% video. Others are, especially Gen Z, very video heavy, right? Consuming 70% plus with video. What I've seen, at least across multiple channels, is different people engage in video and content. And the other example is, 9 to 5 people working at the office. Watching videos is not always possible, right? You have other people around you. You can just play YouTube and stuff. So it's fine to consume content, browse around, even engage in LinkedIn because of messaging and stuff, but it's not necessarily okay to kind of watch videos. So that's why I'm always poking to the format. What's more suitable? Are you actually connecting with different audiences this way and all that?
As long as you publish those 3 types of content, you don't really have to ask the question. I don't want to go into the attribution complexities, like who is watching what, who is coming from where. I don't have time for this, honestly. So maybe it's the right problem for bigger companies, but for me, it's not really the right thing to focus on. Yeah, the only other thing I can say is there is a false belief that you can cross-post your content on all the different channels. But what you have to understand is each channel has a different psychology. You need to understand how people behave on each platform. So when you launch X or when you launch LinkedIn, you're not here for the same reason. So you have to adapt your content to the platform and the formats of the platform rather than asking yourself who's going to watch on this platform. So on LinkedIn, you need to be straight to the point and rational, but you can also add some storytelling and so on. Rather on X, you have to go very straight to the point, like punchlines. And on YouTube, you need to have the first minute of the video needs to be really good. The strategy is to really nail the thumbnail and the title before you actually write and record the video. On Substack, so on your newsletter, you need to have a skimmable newsletter with pictures, big titles, quotes, with variety in terms of text. This is something I teach in the course as well, is you need to have skimmable content on any platform. So skimmable is, let's say you are on the left, you have a big text with just like a big paragraph. Break it down into 3 paragraphs, add some bullet points, add a picture in between, and a big title, and put this in your newsletter. But don't just like leave a lazy paragraph like this, because if it's not skimmable, people will not read it. So you have to optimize for readability first as well. No matter what you say, you need the content to be read. Otherwise, until your name becomes the hook. See, when you get a lot of followers and you have a strong audience that like your content, you can have a weaker hook, I would say, because your name and your picture is the hook. So that's okay. So yeah, adapt to each platform. That's really the main focus.
That's great, great thoughts. And I also like the acknowledgement of when people are famous, their name is the hook. Otherwise, you
Mhm.
actually need to build a name for yourself and kind of build actual value and provide actual results to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking a lot about SEO, and a lot of my background is in blogging, and we work with publishers quite a lot. With the Google Helpful Content Update that slashed tons of publishers in end of 2023, we struggled internally. Many of our clients suffered. Two of them actually went out of business even after being in market for 15 years. It was pretty devastating, essentially. And then with, again, all the chatbots and with AI overviews as well, just the future of publishing in SEO is really questionable. However, social networks are not really helping out because searchability on social is crap. Whenever
Mhm.
I search something on LinkedIn, it's actually non-existent. Same goes for X. I use Grok to search on X because otherwise you can't find anything there.
Okay.
So I'm curious, how do you approach that longevity strategy to make sure that your content is still discoverable? Is it the Substack you're counting on? Is it the YouTube, using that as an SEO strategy because it's also a search engine? Like how do you think about, if I stop doing content for like a month, what are going to be the channels that are still going to like lead traction and all that?
Definitely podcast, Substack with the blog extension, YouTube, and a blog. Definitely the four things you need to focus on. Now for the blog, I'm not sure, but I'm not a specialist in terms of SEO. I don't know where we're heading with SEO, honestly, and with blogs. I saw some devastating stats last week on different big companies that say that they lost a lot of traffic from search. But YouTube and podcasts, it's a good way to start. I mean, it's a good way to go, because if you look at the number of blogs and compare it to the number of YouTube channels and podcasts, you can also merge both. You can merge your podcast and your YouTube channel. It's good to go on a like full video strategy for your podcast, and then upload the audio if you want in a podcast channel. But the discoverability in podcast channels are it's not so high. But on YouTube, if you have a good team, good thumbnails, good title, good keyword research, you can actually be here for a long time. I have a video which is about my authority first framework. Is at 60,000 views now, and every day it generates emails and sales. Even if I cannot like track it directly, sometimes I can. And I published it like 1 year ago, and it's still generating emails and sales. So I plan to publish more long-term videos like this, because it's very, very useful comparing to LinkedIn, where you get discovered a lot, but your posts just disappear after 2 weeks max.
Yeah, that's definitely a great perspective. And again, that's just something that keeps me up at night. Again, I'm kind of posting across different channels, but I really, social is just a foreign medium to me, and always has been, just because of that lack of discoverability. Like, you need to post quick bites. It's more about engagement, more about hooks, more about, hey, look at me and see me. That's why we see more and more memes and clickbait and controversial takes and all that, just because people are fighting for attention.
Where do
And
you
it
see
is,
them?
well, LinkedIn including.
On LinkedIn.
LinkedIn's
Okay.
definitely, yeah. There's a lot of noise. Like, if I look into my feed, essentially it's kind of more the
Okay.
same. But yeah, other than ads, it's well, now I'm seeing why I climb the Eiffel Tower every day, and then there's Arjun actually posting a video of his cross trainer, for example. And I love Arjun. I'm an investor in his business, but
We don't
then,
have the same feed.
well,
You need
yeah,
to train your feed.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm doing like not interested, but the problem isn't. I had that conversation with I forgot his name, but the CEO of Pavilion, and he was running a very controversial take with two hooks in the first two sentences. It was just a lot of clickbait that you've seen ever. Like, I'm 35 and I failed this business, whatever. Then here's what I learned. It's like two so obvious
Mm.
hooks everywhere that are just blowing my mind. And I'm saying, dude, like, please, you can do better. You're running one of the largest, most established self-esteem kind of communities in B2B with people networking, like B2B SaaS founders, healthcare, fintech, and all that. Like, please just do better online, right? And well, that's how the system works. We still need to like capture attention and all that, and that's kind of why I'm doing that. So it kind of turned into lots of supporters on his side, laughed at my comment, like I'm some sort of all troll stuff. But on the bright side, I haven't seen crappy content from him since. So it probably felt like some people DM him and like, hey, dude, that's probably not okay. But I'm seeing more and more and more quality people, experienced, esteemed people who used to alter great content, just hopping on that viral bandwagon just because they see that they get 200 views in their posts and they don't want to disappear, and they say, well, that's probably the only way. And that's what really keeps me up at night.
Yeah, it's a dilemma for any brand. You have virality on one side, and then the other side you have expertise. I lean towards expertise more because I think on the long term it's better. I don't want to generate dry views. I don't want my students and my clients to generate dry views. But you can adapt the formats for virality as well to become viral. So some of my really technical infographics, they go up to 1 million views. So it's possible. Videos as well. I think it's possible if you have a good team to be on the strong positioning with technical content. And sometimes you can add a bit of like strong hooks. I've done it. Last week I said I invested over 17,000 hours in marketing. Here is the blah blah blah. I've done that as well. I'm okay with it because I deliver after. I deliver like real insights. So I'm okay with it. So yeah, you need to find the balance, but don't. The most important is don't get addicted to the dopamine that the views engagement generate. Otherwise, you will go in the wrong direction. It's like a trap. It's you get this emotional feeling like the dopamine, and you want more likes, and so you will adapt your content to the likes rather than what is good for your business. And this is where the traps close on you, because you just want more dopamine and you get addicted. And also, when you get too much dopamine, like with short cycles, your day-to-day life and your day-to-day job starts to feel less interesting, because that's how the dopamine cycles work. The more you get like short-term dopamine, the harder it is to get like long-term dopamine. So I know some CEOs that went really viral on LinkedIn and other platforms, and at the end it was really the only thing that mattered to them, just how many likes I'm going to do today, because they were in the 1000, 2000 areas. So it can be a trap as well.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. Virality is definitely a trap. A lot of, and actually, I care a lot about mental health, and I have
Yeah,
kids, so we are trying to avoid them from like watching shorts and like stupid videos online just because they're really capturing
that's
content.
important.
Yeah,
Be
so
careful
that's
with.
yeah, and again, advising all parents to just be triple careful because, like, I just noticed there's like one of them watching like a Squid Game short, right? And like that's a very horrific Netflix series for like whoever watched that, but essentially there are shorts that are animated and they're showcasing the Korean games, right? So it's for them it looks like, hey, there's a weird game like in South Korea that they're playing and we can learn from that. But eventually then at the high school they bring that the envelope that they're playing that other game with
Really?
banging one envelope with another. So that's getting pretty iffy, and especially as it's moving into the B2B context with virality and clicks, it's just getting outright dangerous. So really not aiming for clickbait is kind of my personal advice here. And I also think we need to change the topic of the episode. We discussed the what was it, professional B2B LinkedIn content, but it probably has to be, I know, professional. We're probably going to hit it off with something else, but it's
Up to
now in
you.
capturing Substack and YouTube and dopamine hits and like psychological triggers. So we're definitely going
Yeah,
to see that offline. But
it's more like a talk about a content ecosystem, to be honest, because you will get more performance with multiple channels because you have more distribution, of course, but also because your audience sees you in different like different channels and also with different angles, different formats. The information is repeated with various angles, so that's very powerful to get leads and revenue.
okay, we'll drop something for you after that as a suggested title. But really appreciate you spending the time and talking about quality content. Really deeply care about that. Just I think the world should be a better place with better content and not wasting time with cut memes and shit. So
Yeah,
once again,
let's make content better.
there you go. Thanks again for stopping by, Pierre. Out of the many channels, where can people find you? What are the top places you're sending people to nowadays?
So my name is Pierre Herubel with an H, and you can type in any channel. It's my name. LinkedIn, YouTube, Substack, anywhere. Google as well.
I love it. Depending on the network, whatever network you use, just Google him, and he's going to show up with some outstanding, great content out there. Um,
Thanks, Mario.
Absolutely. Thanks again for stopping by. And we are also going to keep an eye on the agency launch because it may be something that we're personally
Yeah,
interested in.
big launch.
Excellent. Thanks again,
All
and
right.
speak to you soon. Bye bye.
See you. Ciao.